Hi, everybody. A lot of people want to know what is math for? And I think what they really want to know is what is applied or how do we apply the mathematics that we're learning in school? Now, the bad news is that if you're learning algebra 1, geometry, algebra 2, pre-calculus, there's not a whole lot that you can truly apply to engineering problems because an engineering problem by its nature requires thousands and thousands of steps. And for the most part, it requires statistical analysis. It requires a tremendous amount of stress tolerances. For example, you have to, the geometry of it is incredibly detailed just because of the structure, just because a single building might have a million parts on it. And each one of those parts interacts with every other part. A space shuttle, for example, has 6 million parts on it. And if one of them breaks down, it can cause catastrophic failure, just like in the Challenger, disaster. Anyway, going back to what the question is, I can give you in general, we can solve some very simple problems and make some simple predictions. So the general process that all scientists follow, they analyze data, they create a mathematical model, and then they use that model to make a prediction. And we're going to do that in some really simple cases. So the first one is this problem here. Anthony buys a plant that is currently 16 inches tall. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write the mathematical model out this time. Now, later on, I'm going to get more into the vocabulary and what each one of these things means and how the slope applies and all that. But I think that for most of us, seeing this written out in mathematical terms or in algebraic terms will be pretty simple. So it says the plant is currently 16 inches tall. So it's 16 inches. And the nursery tells him that it will grow about 2.5 inches each week. So growing means that I'm going to be adding 2.5 inches each week. And we want to know how long will it be before Anthony's plant will be at least 3 feet. Now, be at least 3 feet is actually an inequality, but I'm going to go ahead and write the equation because as long as it's 3 feet, we're good to go. And we know that any time after that, it's going to be taller than 3 feet, and it's going to be something that we can see pretty easily. But I'm going to go ahead and write it as an equation, but it's really an inequality because of this at least business going on. Now, a lot of people are going to put the 3 and then be confused when they don't get the right answer. Notice that we have inches and we have inches. So you need to change that 3 feet into inches. And I hope you know how to do that. We're going to do a unit conversion. Now, later on, of course, in the course, where I'm going to teach you how to do this a little more systematically. But most of you know that 3 feet is 36 inches, hopefully. And that's what we're going to use for our equation in this case. Now, if we wanted to, we could write this with a decimal. And a lot of people like decimals better than they like mixed numbers, understandably. So I could write this as 16 plus 2.5W is equal to 36. These mean exactly the same thing. 2.5 and 2.5 is the same. But a lot of people go, oh my God, I'm going to end up having to divide by a decimal. Oh my God, I don't want to do that. Now, the good news in algebra is that you never have to deal with decimals ever again if you don't want to. What you can do is I can actually multiply both sides of this equation by 2 and eliminate the decimal entirely. And so this equation could be written as 2 distributed gives me 32 plus 5W is equal to 72. This equation is equivalent to the one that you see up above here. And either one of those is fine. You could solve either one to solve the problem. And I'm sure most of you can solve it. Now, the difference is that we wanted to be doing inequalities this week. And so we want it to be, think about it, at least. Now, a lot of people get this backwards. At least means that 72, or in this case, 36 inches is the smallest we want it to be, or more. So this means greater than or equal to. So what I should have really written from the very beginning is greater than or equal to. And when I solve this inequality, either this original one or this one, you can use the decimal or not, it's up to you, then I'm going to get a solution. And in order to get that solution, I'm going to subtract 32 from both sides. I'm going to divide by 5. And in this one down here, I'll get an answer. And it's going to be a certain number of weeks is greater than or equal to. And I want you to solve it yourself and figure it out. And I'll put the answer later. Uh, let's see what the next one says. Now this time it says Paula currently weighs 154 pounds and is planning a trip to a fasting retreat. If she loses a half a pound each day, how many days will she need to fast to reach her goal of getting under 150 pounds? Now this one, it's not appropriate to use an equation because she wants to be under 150 pounds. But it's important to know when she'll reach 150 pounds because then we'll know that it has to be less than that. So her current weight is our starting point. That's 154. And for every day she fasts, she's going to lose 1/2 pound. Now losing means that it's going to be subtracting. 1/2 pound every day. And we want to know how long before she's under 150 pounds. Now, a lot of people would do the equation and then solve the equation, but we really want an inequality in this case. So we want it to be 150 pounds. And now we're going to solve our inequality for the number of days. Now be careful. There is a negative division that's going to happen here. And it's going to be a problem for some people to remember that when they get rid of this negative 1/2, they're going to have to change the sign. Now I'm going to go ahead and do something like I did in the other problem. I'm going to multiply everything by 2. I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. And the 2 gets distributed to both parts. That means that it's going to be 308 minus the 2 is getting multiplied by both parts. Negative 1/2 makes negative 1d every day. And that's going to be 300 on this side. Now I'm almost done. I just have to solve this inequality and I'll know how many days it takes for her to reach her goal. And you'll be able to solve this, hopefully. This is an inequality that you need to solve. Look at one more. Now this time it says, Juan owns a lawn care company and currently has $160 in his expense account. If he adds $20 each week, how long will it be until he has enough to buy a new mower that costs at least $300? So remember, at least means that he has to have more than 300 or exactly equal to 300. And I'd like you to set up the inequality, yourself and solve it for yourself. We're going to get more in detail in these, and I'll go through all of the full solutions and get more into the vocabulary and so on later. But try them yourself, and I'll see you back. Bye-bye.